fraud or not, people can't stop talking about aliens. I mean, it is interesting. It is interesting to talk about aliens.
Definitely.
I mean, when you start to think, what if, that what if leads you to so many conversations, you know. Fraud, question mark, doubts raised over ET, extraterrestrial corpses presented before the Mexico Congress. But what's important is that NASA released its report on UFOs. This is what it actually says. It says that, you know, NASA released its findings from a long-awaited study on unexplained flying objects, the UFOs. And the US Space Agency announced last year that it was reviewing evidence regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, which was replaced, which has replaced the term UFO. So, unexplainable, you know, flying objects has been replaced with UAPs, you know, unidentified anomalous phenomena. In an earlier essay on the NASA website, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist, said that it would be egocentric of humans to assume that we are the only life in the universe, which I agree. It is going to be, it is an egocentric take. At the moment, life on Earth is the only known life in the universe, but there are compelling arguments to suggest we are not alone. Now, NASA UFO report, these are the updates. What happened so far? NASA officials spoke about a newly published lengthy study into hundreds of reports of UFOs, or UAPs as it calls them. The report says most UFO sightings have been explained, but there are a few that are not known human-made or natural phenomena. NASA says there is no reason to conclude that extraterrestrial sources are behind the UAPs, but it also cannot rule out that possibility. NASA is no longer using the term UFO in its main communications around the subject of mysterious objects spotted in the sky, while that term, which stands for unidentified flying object, is one of the most commonly associated with the subject by most of us. The US based space agency now opts for a rather less catchy unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
I mean, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson was correct to point out that it would be egocentric of us to assume that we are the only, you know, we are the only living beings, and we are the only civilization to exist. And you know, I saw the skeletons that were presented in the Mexico's Congress.
Absolutely, and we all saw those, you know, those visuals of those aliens. And I'm going to request the control room, if you can rummage through the files and put across, you know, what we showed the viewers. The aliens that were shown, and it says right here, is it actually fraud? Paper mache dolls. Mexican journalist Jose Jaime Mawson, who presented 2 boxes with supposed mummies of aliens before the Mexico Congress, and we'll just show you those visuals, you know, made similar claims in Peru in 2017. A report by that country's prosecutor's office found that the bodies were recently manufactured dolls which have been covered with a mixture of paper and synthetic glue to simulate the presence of skin. The bodies were not publicly unveiled at the time, so it is unclear if they are the same as those presented on Tuesday. Could it be paper mache dolls? Are we going gaga over Goo Goo dolls?
I mean, you know, the moment, you know, when it came out, the story.
These aliens.
I mean, that would be a huge blow if it turns out that they are just, you know, made out of paper. That would be a huge blow. But given the history of the guy, I think the moment, you know, the Mexico came out,
it's like a situation where the boy cries wolf, you know.
Yeah, the boy cries wolf.
If it actually is going to be an alien coming from this Mawson guy, nobody's going to believe it.
Believe it, because the moment you know, the moment this news broke out, the articles that were, you know, on top was that.
But it is intriguing, isn't it?
It is definitely.
I mean, you look at those faces, and maybe it is paper mache, maybe it's mummified children from back in the day. But it makes you question. It does make you question.
It does make me question that, you know, what if it, you know, because, you know, when this Mexico story came out, the first thought in my mind was that a month ago, I guess 2 months ago in July, you know, there was US Navy officers who went on to, you know, went on and claimed that the US government is in possession of UFOs. And there was a proper UFO hearing going on. Later, Pentagon denied the claims, and, you know, the case was dismissed. But when you think about it, first you are like, you know, this is too far-fetched. what are we talking about aliens, we don't have any proof. But then you have people coming up with so much conviction that no, it exists, UFO exists, aliens exist, there are people, we are not alone in this universe. And when they talk about it like this with that much confidence, you have to, you know, give it a thought that what if it's all part of a conspiracy theory. I feel like the aliens don't want us to know about their existence right now, and when they are ready, when they think that we are ready to know about them, they'll show up themselves. So there are a lot of conspiracy theories that are going on, and you know, it makes me question about it as well, that what if it's real, what if these are in fact, you know, aliens, and these fossils were dated, you know, thousands and thousands years back. So I think you know, it was an important discovery. Given the history of the guy, I think obviously they are going to be, you know, proper hearing, proper investigation into it. But what if
Right.
he
But
is
you know,
actually
Nancy,
true?
coming back to NASA's year-long UFO report, I'm reading a online copy. It says it outlined how NASA will investigate what it calls the UAPs with improved technology and artificial intelligence.
AI.
It says that it's going to only take into account the public, you know, unclassified documents, so that it can openly be spoken about, and whatever they study, they can put it out in you know, the public domain. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson said that the U.S. Space Agency will not only take the lead in researching possible UAP incidents, but will share data with more transparency as well. There's no proof aliens exist, but they might.
They might.
And that this has been the idea for the longest time as well. The very last page of the report says there is no reason to conclude that extraterrestrial sources are behind the hundreds of UAPs sightings NASA has investigated. However, those objects must have traveled through our solar system to get here. Although the report did not conclude extraterrestrial life exists, NASA did not deny the possibility of potential unknown alien technology operating in Earth's atmosphere. Again, something like this coming from NASA can only, you know, what I start thinking is that Picasso drew the prototype of a helicopter 400 to 500 years before we finally had the helicopter.
Yeah, true.
And at that time, if you would have told somebody that, you know,
They're
there's a
going to be
lightweight
heading, yeah.
Tejas aircraft, there's a helicopter, we've got our own, you know, lightweight helicopters, choppers, various sizes, alpha choppers, you know, if you would have told them, they would have laughed at you.
Yeah, like most of people are laughing right now as well, that, you know, what are they talking about aliens, how are they going to come? But I think NASA is, I know undoubtedly it's a credible source, even though they are not confirming anything, but they are also not ruling out the possibility that we are not alone in the universe. We are definitely
NASA
not.
has weighed in on this viral video from Mexico. Okay, the NASA panel was asked about a series of photographs of purported extraterrestrials that were presented to Mexican authorities earlier this week. A self-proclaimed UFO expert, Jamie Mawson, brought to congressional hearing what he presented as two ancient non-human alien corpses. He claimed the bodies had been found in Cusco, Peru in 2017, and that radiocarbon testing dated the objects to be up to 1800 years old. The authenticity of the specimens has been greeted by heavy skepticism in scientific circles, and Mr. Mawson himself has previously made claims of extraterrestrial life that were debunked. NASA scientist Dr. David Spergel told the BBC, make samples available to the world scientific community, and we'll see what's there. Well, we'll find out, we'll get down to the bottom of this once you tell us what that carbon dating is that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the UFO report is out. UAP, I must call it now. You can, of course, pick it up on NASA's website, and it's for everybody's perusal out in the public domain. Do give it a read, ladies and gents.